Hey guys, what's up? I just wanted to kind of check in and do something a little different tonight and show off some of the recent pickups I've acquired. I shouldn't be, and I know this. I'm a grown man, but I'm always a little hesitant to show off some of the things that I get because I always feel like they're maybe lacking a little bit in comparison to like what I watch and see people like open on YouTube and show off on social media. So I'm always like a little hesitant because my cards aren't cool enough or something. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm returning to the hobby. Like I've been doing this for like almost 6 months now. Yeah. So of course it's not going to be anything stellar, and right now I'm just kind of in a good way overwhelmed by all the product that's out there, everything that's come out since 1991, 92 area. So anyway, I'm still grabbing just random things, this and that, cards that I thought that was cool when I was a kid. So I'm still just picking up things like that, and some other things that I see that I get inspired by watching people, you guys on YouTube, in the YouTube card community. Like it would almost be better to not watch anything for a while and catch up. But then I watch, all these great people that I follow and watch, and they're showing off all these awesome cards. So, anyway, let's get into it. I want to show off some of the things that I've gotten. So let's see here. Let's start with this. I just got one of these. I know it's a set of four or so. But I got the Satchel Paige from the Rickwood Field Negro Leagues set that came out this year. And sorry about the glare, but they're just beautiful cards. I really like art cards or cards with an artistic bent to them. So there's lots of artist made cards and unofficial unlicensed cards that I buy and I'm really attracted to. So these Negro League cards from the Rickwood Field thing, I love them and I want to get them all. But I saw the Satchel Paige and it was a good price, so I picked it up. So I'm super happy to have that. And then one thing that I got 2 weeks ago or so that I am excited to have, but also relieved to kind of check off. So the cards that I jumped back into, getting back into the hobby, were this year's 2024 Topps Heritage, and there was definitely, so coming from the last set that I actively worked on collecting and finishing was the 1990 Topps, and so I was kind of working on that and the 89 at the same time. So I thought, oh, this would be a great set to get into. And when I'm watching people show it off and describe it, on YouTube here, they're like, yeah, these are great cards for set collectors, people that like to collect sets. They're based off old vintage designs, and so I was like, that's awesome. That's right up my alley. So I jumped into that, but there was definitely some naivete on my part because there's all these parallels and hard to get like inserts and things. So, but I committed, so I was committed to building the set. So I'm actually nearly finished with the main set now. I think I'm about around 30 cards shy. All of them are the short prints, the cards 1 through 100, which I'm down with short prints. I'm still new to this, so I'm down with parallels. I think parallels are cool, and as somebody that does have, at least still right now, an interest in building sets, I kind of like, if I'm buying packs and buying cards to try to complete the set, that even if I get a double, maybe it's this parallel, so it's a bit of a shift. But making a part of the base set short print, I'm not sure I'm too excited about that. So this year's Heritage 1 through 100 are short prints, tough to get. So I'm about 30 shy of those, and then I'll have that part done. Probably get that done just in time for like High Series to come out, and then whatever. But anyway, then there's all these inserts and odds and end things, normal things like autos and relics and dual autos or dual relics, and then there's also like the 3D cards, which are crazy hard to get. I've opened a lot of Heritage product so far this year, and I've yet to get one of those out of they typically come, or I think they come in like blaster packs, or not blasters, hangers. I've opened quite a few hangers, haven't been lucky enough to get them, and they are crazy expensive. So with things like that, I know I'm not going to be able to get the entire run of those. So I just want to have one so I can have an example. And so one of those kind of oddball inserts are the minted. They're Heritage minted. And so this one I got a couple weeks ago. So this is 1975 Topps Mint. It's a Tyler Soderstrom, and it has a nickel minted in 1975 kind of in there. So it's numbered to 15, and so they do nickels and they do dimes. They're crazy expensive, at least for me. I think probably at least for most people, depending on the player, of course. I see them on eBay, things like that, going for like $150 to $200. And so I picked this one up on eBay. Seemed a little weird. It was like $25. So I picked it up and it arrived and it came. So now I've got an example of this. And actually what's kind of cool, with it being Tyler Soderstrom, he's not somebody I collect, not somebody I really know anything about, but as I've opened the Heritage product this year, my very first auto that I ever pulled out of anything was Soderstrom, or at least I believe it was. Maybe I'm wrong, but anyway, I know I've got that, and I've got some of the like other things, kind of like the rainbow. So it's really cool. Glad to have this. Glad to have one of these like just kind of checked off. I've had my eye on, I think it's a dime of Jazz Chisholm, and I really like Jazz Chisholm. So that's something that I think might be cool to maybe track down at some point, but not a priority. So anyway, pick this up. Glad to have that. One little representative from that insert set into my Heritage. And then here lately, I know I've posted quite a bit of it in some shorts that I've done. I really like 2012 and 2013 Panini Golden Age. The more I open it, the more I like it. It's a really manageable checklist, like 146 cards, I believe. And then there's, a parallel set of minis and some things like that. A lot of historical figures, things I really like. I feel like maybe I'm a little late to the Allen and Ginter party because I've got some from this year. I've got the Hot Box, if anybody's been watching my videos on that, which is really cool. But outside a lot of the ball players, it's a lot of content creators and things that I have no idea. So I like the Golden Age. And so I was opening some packs that I have, and I got this, which was cool. It's a Vita Blue relic. I think that's cool. Get an actual like color patch, I've said it before, and I know it's not the most popular thing, but I'm a fan of relics. I think it just adds some variety to the cards. But yeah, so it's really cool. I think these have really nice backs. I think even the base card designs are really cool, and get a nice patch out of that. There's some fun relics in it. I opened a bunch of packs last night, and I have another hobby box that I'll start opening sometime soon as well. So anyway, glad to have that. Then a local card shop in my area, they have some good vintage stuff and really good prices. Now, they're low grade cards, maybe mid grade at best, but for me, for my budget, for just where I'm going, in my collection right now, it really fits, works well for me. And so one of these I saw, and it's just awesome again to have in a collection. And this actually is in a really nice shape. It's 68 Roberto Clemente, Sporting News. Uh, Really, actually, very nice corners, off center a little bit, but not egregiously so, in my opinion. Puzzle back. Yeah, look good, and I think these vintage cards look good in these black edged, one touches or whatever. So, pick that up. I think I paid $10, and super stoked to have a card like this in my collection because it's Clemente. It's a card that, as a young collector, when I started back in the late 80s, I never thought I would be able to have a card like that. So super stoked to add that to the collection. And then another one I picked up from the same shop recently as well. I love basically every Duke Snider card that I see. He's one of those players that I think doesn't have any bad cards. Dude's a good-looking guy, and so I think his cards always look really, really nice. So I was super stoked to pick this up for under $10. Nice centering on it. Good centering. Corners are all right, not too rough. I've seen worse. Decent color on it. So yeah, super excited to have that. Just looks good sitting on my desk that I can just look up and check out these cards. So super stoked to have that as well. And then these were definitely the lower, like mid-grade at best, but budget, and I just thought looked cool. So if I think a card looks cool, I'm going to grab it. So first up, and this one actually is in really decent condition. Picked up 79 Nolan Ryan. Very slowly plugging away at the 79 set. So this was one that I still needed. Luckily, there's not a lot of like big money cards. There really isn't any big money cards. Generally, the Ozzie Smith rookie is going to be your biggest card, and I've got an okay copy of that. So saw this there. Why not? Picked it up. Off center on the back, but the front for a 79, in my limited experience thus far, that's not the worst centering in the world. A little bit of a ding corner right there, but again, for what I paid, I don't remember what I paid, but it was certainly just a few dollars. Very pleased to have that. And then a player who I admired as a kid. And it's funny because it's one of those kid things, especially like kid pre-internet. I didn't have cable at the time. So there's players that I was really drawn to, even though honestly I didn't know anything about them or much of anything. And so one of them is Willie Stargell. And I really think that's because of, what was it, 88, 87? He was one of the Donruss puzzles. Like, he was the puzzle that year. And so I ended up as a kid, assembling all the pieces to that puzzle. So I'm like, Willie Stargell. But now I know more about him, and I think he's cool. So I almost always grab pretty much any Willie Stargell card I can. So I picked up this 69. Nice looking card. Has a crease there. Certainly a loved card, but I am always down for that. I love these artifacts that show signs of life. I am amazed at pristine copies of cards, especially the older, like when there is a 10 or just a really sharp card. Just the ability to keep that card nice for so long is impressive. And then on the flip side of that, these cards that have lived a life, I really dig, because I like to think about the previous owners, kids typically, especially for cards of this age, collecting, trading. So really glad to have that. And then again, along those same lines of being a kid and admiring or liking players that you might not even know about, and it's somebody who's been talked about a lot more recently, unfortunately, because of his death, and that's Fernando Valenzuela. As a kid, my uncle, I think, just gave me a random Fernando Valenzuela poster because it's a kid. You're a kid, and get a free poster to hang on your wall. So it was this huge poster of Fernando Valenzuela, and I would just look at it and like it. So at the time, I get a couple cards out of '88 and the years that I was collecting there, and so I just always thought it was really cool. So this was just laying there in like the budget bin, and so it's a nice little '81 Future Stars, Fernando, Mike Scioscia, Percante. So yeah, this one not bad actually. I might have paid $2 for this card, but again, a nice, decent looking copy, and I'll almost always pick up any Valenzuela I come across. So very cool there. And then this one. So this one checks off a lot of boxes, or multiple boxes, I should say. One of my favorite designs that I didn't know anything about as a kid. So this is something that, returning to the hobby, I'm like, oh man, I love this set. And lots of people do. It's not a unique take, but I love the 65 tops. And so I picked up this. Now this has some love to it. So it's 65 Colt 45s. We got the Joe Morgan rookie. Growing up in Ohio, Joe Morgan is, where I am at least, I'm closer to Cincinnati than Cleveland for sakes. And those weren't words, I'm pretty sure. But anyway, yeah, so Joe Morgan, like, about Joe Morgan. I don't really recall watching Joe Morgan play, but you just by osmosis, you learn about the Big Red Machine and those 70s Reds and things like that. So Joe Morgan's a big thing, big guy. This has, like, I don't know, man, I don't know if it's maybe some water damage at some point or just a nice wiggly crease, but certainly a card I'd like to have a better copy of at some point. But again, like, this card has some stories to tell, and so I like to think about those stories. So very nice having that. And then I think last but not least here, 71 iconic card, Thurman Munson. I feel like this is a key card for any collector. It's just a fantastic image, cloud of dust, and got the rookie cup, and yeah, so it's just a great card, iconic card. Glad to have this in my collection. Now, as a kid, I started collecting in Junk Wax '88, and so I never really had any cards of any kind of value, at least long term. All the cards that everybody was chasing back then, some of those that I had. And actually the only card that I had as a kid, but I sold or traded off to a shop when I was, I don't know, 12 or so, 1992-ish, was the Thurman Munson rookie cards of the year before this. I did have that at one point in my life. That's certainly the most noteworthy card, probably even to this day, that I've ever had in my collection. So, very, very budget collection. But anyway, awesome. Glad to have this. Glad that it's got some wear on it. I think it fits great with the image, the dust. It's a dusty card. So, very happy to add that to the collection. All right, so pushing 20 minutes, so I'll go ahead and cut it off there. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out, checking out my recent pickups, and I will see you next time.